Yo, 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 sup traders, how are y'all doing? Welcome in, much love fam here, Trav here. And I'm gonna share with you a short that I took in the altcoin market at all-time highs of the best performing asset Mog, why I did that, and what the plan is. But if we go to CoinMarketCap and we look at the last 7 days, Mog is up actually from this low down here, from the bottom of the alt market, pulled 162%. So why are we shorting it? Well, the first is I've got a really simple system where I like to buy assets when they take an old monthly low, and I like to sell assets when they fail at an old monthly high. Okay? So I'm gonna look at more things, but Mog came to set a new all-time high and is struggling. So we're gonna look at it. I talk about my trade plan, and what's going on. So one thing that I just want to point out is volume. For a coin to break out of an all-time high, usually what you want to see is increasing volume to create a trend to the upside. And what are we seeing? On MEXC, we see decreasing volume. Let's look at BitGet. Here we also see decreasing volume. Okay. Pretty low volume on this all-time high. So yeah, that's something to pay attention to is the volume. That makes it more likely. I mean, if we look at the volume, the thing that's up 100% is done it on pretty low volume. It's right in the middle, right? We would want to see it maybe in the top, near the top of volume. Another thing, honestly, is I just don't think it's a good meme. What is Mog Coin? I believe that dogs do better than cats as memes. Um, well, that's been true. Also, yeah, it's just not clear what it is. Mog Coin. I guess it's a cat. Yeah, but it's not. It's just not a very good meme, I think. It's this meme here. Mog. Zaniverse of Mog Coin. Adding a dash of humor. Okay, well, let's take a look at, before we take a look at the trading plan, let's just go through the market itself and see that Cospa is going to take its all-time high. We'll see what it does there. I'm not going to trade this till July. I want this to be an old monthly low or old monthly high, but if it fails and starts to come in, I'll probably trade that in July. BNX was one something on my list, but it just died. I'm looking for Brett. I'm looking for Tron at all-time highs. I'm looking at Tron at this level, or maybe all the way up here if it can have a strong recovery. But for the most part, I mean, it's still a weak market. Arguably, we have a long on the. Excuse me. Jesus, these seasonal allergies are crazy. I want to see price. I mean, arguably, we have a long, but it's been pretty fucking weak on alts, and we definitely don't have a long on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been pretty weak. Put in this wick, didn't bounce. I don't see why it shouldn't take this wick and this low, and we'll see what happens when that happens. At that point, I would probably trade it to the long side. But we have a lot of alts that are seem to be continuing to die off, right? Some of them are green, but a lot of them had a nice pump and are coming back. Some of them just gave up the low entirely and are just going to new lows. We're seeing some of them do that. So, is this an environment where there's a lot of breakouts happening? No. Is this an environment where breakouts can be successful? Probably not, right? And this isn't just to crypto. Okay, this is one I need to move to my watch list. This isn't just crypto, right? Why? Um, let's look at the investment assets. So one thing is Amazon had an all-time breakout, all-time high breakout, and is coming back in potentially. So that's interesting. Nvidia maybe topped. We saw on Friday we had a failed all-time high breakout on the S&P 500. Look how harsh this rejection was. All-time high, straight down, right? So we're seeing NASDAQ didn't quite make it. None of the other indices are that strong or like at all-time highs. Point is, yeah, I'm waiting for gold. I will trade longs if we take these lows. Probably this low and close back above it, I'll try it. Um, dot. Dot is in the wrong place. It's supposed to be in crypto. Yeah, point is, this isn't an environment where breakouts seem to be working that well. So if we look at Mog, which by the way, I mean, it's just an idea. It doesn't have to work. I could take a loss here. Not just a stop, but just exit out at some point. But here's what I'm seeing. So also one more thing before we do the actual technical analysis, whatever. If we look at the discussion of Mog right now, people are people are euphoric. People are euphoric. This is 14 hours ago, which should be about, yeah, I mean, okay. Happy Mog all-time high day. There's euphoria and celebration, right? Where was this post at? 2027, right? Like right at the very high on this candle is when people are posting. Yet, okay. So I like to fade euphoria. People are saying it's going to a billion, doing quickly. Well, why did it fail its breakout, right? People were saying it reminds them of Pepe and of um, Whiff. Well, let's look at Whiff. No, we need it somewhere else. Whiff. When it broke out, it cleared the level cleanly and just kept going, right? And it's possible. Oh, well, that's because it was during the week, right? True, maybe true. But we're not getting that, right? Same thing with Pepe. When it broke out here, there was never closed back under a level. It was just straight power, huge volume that came in, insane volume, pushed it up to new highs. And what happened? Um, it broke out. But if we look at what Mog's doing, well, Mog actually had that back here. Breakouts, had some red days. What stage base are we in, right? So this is stage one. This is a stage one base. And we're at a stage two. This is stage two. So it's already feels kind of late in the game. Now, if we look at the actual trade, some things that I'm noticing. So the important thing is I want to see price trading under this yellow line, under this line. And also, which is the old high here to the left. Also want to see it trading under this high here, which it's doing. Um, Now, a couple other things. So here's kind of my concept as we drop to a lower time frame. Let's look at this chart's a little bit cleaner. So Well, one thing is we had this consolidation right under all-time highs, right? What does this look like? Accumulation, what is it? Power of three is what they call it, right? But the idea is, yo, shouldn't we um if we're gonna break out of this, shouldn't we go higher and not go lower, right? This looks like the failed breakout right here. Because it's a failed breakout of this high. And I mean, if just we just look, if we look at how this move up has been, right? Okay, we've got a 40% move, and then a 56% move, and then a 79% move, and then a 51% move, and then a 30% move. So it's like a weaker move. It didn't get as high either. And also if we drop to the lower time frame, there was some huge buy on this on the 1 minute, which just rejected, right? This happened on the 1 minute, rejected. So for me, this is a good place to put a line in the sand and say, I'm short. This is my stop loss, right? Wherever that may be, depending on the Mog chart. Why didn't we break out? It could just be because it was the weekend, but it could also be because we're gonna go lower, right? I mean, if I think about my box, well, in theory, if we have a bigger box here, we could put a bigger box here. This is if, because it still needs to go a ways. Well, depending on the chart. But if we fall back in here, so I'm anticipating if we fall back in here, we should go back towards the lows of this range. So it's an if. This is a high risk reward trade. It's a high RR trade. What's the win percentage at this point? Well, let's take a look at my situation. So I entered it at 1.972, and I already added enough that I don't feel the need to add on. So the worst case is I take the full stop, but if price comes back up and is starting to close back up here and push higher, and I see it, I'll probably close. So my idea is if price takes this low, the trade's probably going to be a winner, and I can de-risk it somehow. But I can advance my stop somewhat. Maybe take up half the risk here and just let it run wide. This is a place where we could have a big reaction, so I definitely do not want to add down here, and that's another place where I might want to advance. And again, this is if we get down here, we might just come up and stop me out, and that's okay. I'll look to trade something else. Ultimately, the biggest TP that I'd be interested in is coming all the way back down to the lows here. But I don't know how interested I am in holding that long, because even if the whole thing reverses, it might take weeks to get down there. I don't know that I would want to hold it for weeks if I had to. Um, so I'm not very interested in adding on to this. I'm more interested in adding on by taking uh, taking a different entry. Now I will say that okay, the volume increased on the perp chart. It did. So there's increased perps. If I look though, where are we? If I look at the app MEXC, what is the funding telling me for MOG? It's positive, which means that more people are longing than short, which is another thing that I want to see. People are logging something that failed to break out. Well, where's their stop loss going to be? Where's their liquidation going to be? Well, if we can fall down here, there's probably going to be a lot of stop losses and liquidations. If we take out this, people are going to think, well, it didn't work. I'm interested in something else. So what might that else be, right? So instead of adding on, Say this works. Say that this works in theory, and it kind of bleeds down or however it wants to get here, and it's next week, and I'm still in this, and I've de-risked it. Rather than add on to this, I'll be interested in shorting Cospa if it's getting weak up here, or whatever else might pop up out of nowhere. Um, if it's Ton or Tron, or this one. This one's interesting. MX token. Well, we're already at the June high, so we'd have to look back to the May high. So that's the plan. That's how I'm trading it. Again, it's not guaranteed to work, and this isn't an invitation to copy me by any means, but this is what we're doing. And if I'm just looking at it from an eye test on the daily, it's putting in, no matter how we look at it, a pretty big pin bar or a pretty big wick, which doesn't mean we cannot just launch higher like happened here, but is usually when there's a big wick, it signals the possibility of reversal. Doesn't mean we have to reverse, but signals the possibility of reversal. Yeah, and this was just that was a crazy wick right there. Crazy wick. So don't copy my trading, but yeah, I'll update you when if this works. If you don't hear from me, it doesn't mean I blew up. It just means I probably either took a stop or I chose to exit and didn't try again. Okay, appreciate you much. Love. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.